Hello, I'm Lucas from Lapala, and today I will show you how to create a first process with Lapala. And that includes how to do your first automations. Of course, if you have any questions, you should contact us and we'll help you solve them. In this example, we are going to create a process that manages incoming customer requests. Let's first start by creating a process, clicking here, and from scratch. So here we are. We first need to rename the process. We will call it manage customer requests. We'll start by creating the different steps of the process. First one will be fill in a request. Then the second step will be qualify the request. And now we want our third step to be the director's approval. So create a step. So we can see that the director's approval is with another actor. So that means we have to add a new actor to this process. So we click in the form. On the top left corner, there's this screen where we can edit the actors, which we are going to do. So we create an actor. We want it to be the director. And for the sake of this example, I'll be able to play this actor. Create the actor. So we can see now it exists and its color is orange. And so for this step, we want the actor to be the director. Now I want there to be two options in my process. First, if the request is accepted by the director, it should be sent to a manager. And secondly, if it's not accepted, then the person asking for the request should receive an email stating the rejection of the request. If the request is accepted, I need to create the step called new request to complete. So create a step, new request to complete. And this has to be done, we said before, by a manager. So once again, I edit the actors, create an actor, call it the manager, and I add myself to the list of people who can play this actor. There we go, and select the manager here, and here we go. That's done. And so now I need to create the second step, which is a branch. It's not a step on default path. And I want this step to be send the rejection email. So this step, I want it to be done by the automation actor, and so I just need to select it here. And now we've got the basic steps of our process. Now that we have done the structure of the process, I will guide you into how to detail the different steps to turn this process into a real guided experience for all users. Indeed, after being refined, this process will be able to give the right task and information to the right person at the right time without any user's click. In our first step, we are creating the fields that we want. So we enter it. We are creating a first field, which is name of the requester, name of the requester, that's text, and second field, which will be budget. And so we want it to be a number, and another field, which is name of the request. So we realize that this should appear above, so we just click and drag it above. And I'm going to add another field as well, which is going to be to attach a file document. Oh, by the way, if you click on this parameter wheel here, you can change a lot of things. For instance, requiring at least one document to be here, or requesting for several inputs in this file document, for instance. Let's now move on to the second step. In this step, we want to use the information that we have been entering during the first step. This is the first automation that Lapala can do. Indeed, entries from previous steps can appear either into the introduction of the step or in the field of the steps. I will show you how to do both in this example. In the introduction, I'm adding name of the request and I'm clicking on the variable. name of the request, and I click on this variable. I'm doing the same with the name of the requester. In the fields, I'm going to add the other information. So I'm going to click on field, I'm going to click on number, and on the three little dots here, context variables. And I want it to be the budget. And now you can see that the budget appears automatically. I'm going to do the same with the files that are inputted in the first step. So I want here to be a file, and my file, I want it to be the attached document. So now I'm going to add two fields. The first one being a field where people can add in comment. So I click on field, text, such as before, comments. And the second one will be a priority list. To do the priority list, you can see that I've added a text field. Now I click on the parameter wheel here, more options, value constraints, and constraint type constants. In our case, the value will be low, medium, and high. And we can see that we have all the values available here. So now let's move on to the next step. So in this step, we're first going to add in an introduction for the directors to have all the information he needs to make a decision. I've just typed all the information, and so now we just have to select the information in Lapala. So we have a new request. The name of the request is here. The request is from name of the requester. The priority level is priority list. The estimated budget is budget. And the comments from the qualification steps are comments. Okay, so now the director has all the information he needs. We're just going to add two fields for him to, one, make the decision, and two, add in comments. So to make the decision, create a field, which is going to be a yes-no field. Rewrite in the question, is the demand accepted? And that's done. And for the comments field, as before, just an open text field where the director can add any comment he wants. So now we need to create a different path after this step. So we're going to go on the outgoing connector menu on the left side of the Lapala screen. And first we are going to rename the path. So the first path, which is going to send rejection email, I want to name it request rejected. And the second one, the default path, which goes to a new request to complete, I want to rename it request accepted. I refreshed my screen, and if I go to the big screen, I can see that it's written request accepted and request rejected, which is going to be way easier for me to understand how my processes work in the future. Back to director's approval. Now let's write in the condition. So I want the send rejection email step to be activated only when the answer to the question, is the demand accepted, is no. So I will choose here, is the demand accepted, write in equal false. And now my conditions are okay because the other path will take every other possibility, which means that basically the director's approval's answer is yes. Let's move on to the other steps. In this step, I need to inform a manager that he has a new request to complete. So I will just write in, you have a new request to complete. It is called name of the request. It has been initiated by name of the requester, and the priority level is priority list. And that's it. Basically now the manager has the information, and that's what we wanted to do with this step. Now we can move on to the last step, which is the email sent. So in this step, we want Lapala to automatically send an email explaining that the request has been rejected. So we selected in the past automation here. And so now we need to click on the action that we want Lapala to be doing for us. In our case, we will click on send an email with exchange. And now it's all set up. So we click the connection. The sender email address will be the one that we have in store. So call at lapala.io for this example. The subject will be rejection of your demand. And the text, the body of the text, we click on formula. That's important. So we can call any other information that we have been adding to the process in the past. And so we will write in your request cannot be approved for the following reason. And now, in terms of recipient, I'm gonna add in my email address for this example, but we could go to a database and make it more complicated and more automated if we wanted to. It's just that we want, for this example, things to remain as simple as possible. So now all is done. I can now click on publish my process. And now I can see it here. So we'll try the process together to check it. Let's start one process. So let's say the name of the request is client A wants something. Name of the requester is Lucas. The budget is 1000. And I'm going to pick a file as well here. I just select the file I want to add. So customer request, click open. And now I can validate. We are now on the second screen. We can see that there's information from the previous screen that is here. So the name of the request, the name of the person who was asking the request, and the estimated budget. And so now I can choose the priority. For this example, it's going to be low, and add in comment, good request. Now I can validate. And now I'm on the third screen, so that director's approval. Normally, this screen would have been seen by the director, but just for the sake of this example, I am playing all the different roles. We can see that all the information from the previous screens is now here. So we can accept the request and say, okay, let's validate. And now this is the last step of our request, which is I'm the manager now. I'm informed that a new request to complete has been shared. It's called client A wants something, and it's been initiated by Lucas. Now I can validate, and as you'll see, the workflow is complete. So now we're going to try the other case with the rejection email. Processes, manage customer request, name of the request, test v2, still Lucas. The budget, we're going to put 2000. We're going to choose this file as well, the customer request, open it, and validate. So on the second screen, we can see that all the information has been shared. So I can see even the PDF here directly on Lapala. That's quite handy. So priority list is going to be high, and comments, I will write all is okay. Validate. Now it's time for the director's approval. So I'm going to say it's not accepted. Why? Not enough capacity at the moment. I validate. So now the workflow is complete. And now you can see that I received an email which is telling me that my request cannot be approved because there's not enough capacity at the moment. So that's exactly what we were expecting. I hope that you'll enjoy this little demo of Lapala, and now you can feel confident to build your first process. Let's meet soon on Lapala.